New information on a disturbing story developing at this time yesterday on Happening Now. A hearing is actually scheduled for today as well for a D.C. Metro Transit officer charged with trying to help the Islamic State. Nicholas Young, a 13-year veteran, was arrested yesterday in an FBI sting. He's the first American law enforcement officer to face federal terror charges. Prosecutors say they've been watching him for years. We're going to get to that more in a second. All this is happening as we learn of another arrest. A man was arrested in North Carolina with alleged ties to the arrests made in Texas, the Texas extremists who plotted an attack on the Draw the Prophet Muhammad cartoon contest last year. You probably remember that story. Police say Eric Jamal Hendricks wanted to create an ISIS sleeper cell, and that's how they were able to get to him. Here's our legal panel for today. Eric Guster, criminal defense attorney, and Brian Claypool, defense attorney as well. Brian, you have some issues with this D.C. case. You say that you think it could be an overreaction. Why?
Oh, absolutely, Jenna. In fact, I think this is a politically motivated arrest manufactured by the FBI and then rubber stamped again by the U.S. Department of Justice. Now, we just went through the FBI recommending not to indict our former Secretary of State with a mountain of evidence against her, rubber stamped by the U.S. Department of Justice, and now the timing is suspect, too. All of a sudden now, Mr. Young, who I haven't seen really any evidence, Jenna, to support this arrest for domestic terrorism, is now paraded into a courtroom in the middle of a presidential election. So I believe this is politically motivated.
Interesting. All right. So that's what you believe based on what you're seeing that justify the arrest. Eric, here's what the charge papers say. They say that he sent numeric codes for 22 gift cards to individuals he believed had joined ISIS. And what he believed they were going to do with those gift cards was buy messaging apps so they could communicate under the radar. And they've been following him, law enforcement, they say, for years, and watched him even make trips overseas. So is that enough to arrest him?
I'm sure it's enough. Let me tell you what the FBI does in cases like this. They take their time to make sure they get the right people. They want to give the person enough rope to hang themselves, in that they will put them under surveillance, see who they're talking to, read their messages, read their internet email. And this guy was actually kind of paranoid that his emails were being read, which he was right, because he was under surveillance. Because the FBI has to make sure that any type of person who is aiding and abetting ISIS will be captured, as well as any of their co-conspirators.
But Brian, when you look back at some of the papers, it goes back to 2010. He had interviews with the FBI in 2011. So here we are, 5 years later. He even told the FBI that he went to Libya twice to fight with the rebels, and he had body armor when he came back into the country. The Customs and Border Enforcement Agency found that on him. So the fact that he's been, around and thinking he's working with someone that is a bad guy is alarming, I'm sure, especially to the people of D.C.
Jenna, the FBI has been watching this guy for 5 years. That supports my argument. They hadn't found anything yet in 5 years to arrest this guy. Then all of a sudden, they use a $245 card that he sent to somebody overseas. There's absolutely no evidence that I've seen in the probable cause affidavit. Again, Jenna, we're talking about evidence, not allegations, much like Marilyn Mosby we just went through with Freddie Gray. She paraded all these allegations in an affidavit, in a probable cause affidavit, and then when the trial came, all the evidence fell through. There was none.
Well,
we don't have any.
You raise an
where's the
interesting
credible
question,
risk?
Eric. What about that? For this gift card and the amount that apparently it had on it, and the fact that he was working with an informant, not somebody that was really a bad guy, is it enough to charge him, to hold him, to arrest him? And is he really a threat to public safety?
Of course it's enough. If this man thought that he was giving this information, or he actually gave this information to ISIS or someone who was aiding ISIS in planning an attack, of course that's enough. And Brian knows, just like I do, we have had cases where the FBI has investigated someone for multiple years. They gave them enough rope to go out there, contact your co-conspirators, talk to other people, and then when they get enough to indict, that's when they indict. They don't want to indict you too early, because they want to make sure they have enough evidence.
We got to go, unfortunately, but there'll be enough.
Jenna.
There'll be enough, Brian. Unfortunately, we're going to have to go. We're up against a commercial break.
Okay.
But we'll be watching this case, and as more comes out, we'll take a second look at it. Brian and Eric, thank you so much.
Thank you.